What's up guys? My name is Jess, I'm the creator of Pink Rex, and today we're going to talk about Staghorn Ferns. A couple of months ago I made a short video for TikTok where I mounted this guy on a wood round that has since rotted. People also pointed out that while it was sold to me as a Staghorn Fern, it might be an Elkhorn Fern. I won't know till it's older, and truthfully, I don't care. So right now it's pretty much just got like a sad half kokedama look going on from what's left of the moss. And there is still soil in there, but today we're going to remount it into this little basket from the dollar store. If you're new here and you would be willing to take a moment to like and subscribe, it really helps the channel out. All right, let's do it. For supplies, you're gonna need a fern, a wee little basket, or some people use little wood crates. And you'll also need some fishing line. I would recommend clear fishing line, but I don't have any, so we're just using regular fishing line. The last thing you'll need is some moistened sphagnum moss. This has been soaking for like 20 minutes. I'm gonna go wring it out really good, and then we can get started. This is the brand of sphagnum moss I'll be using today. Really, any kind of long fiber sphagnum moss can work. You just gotta make sure it's good quality and it doesn't have straw as a filler, because a lot of the cheaper brands do. Specifically, one at Home Depot does. You can find this in the reptile section of most pet stores. It's really easy to find, and I got this on a clearance for $1. Woo. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is free up the root ball by taking this moss I have tied on off of here. Now that I've got all that off there, I'm gonna go ahead and loosen up the very sad root ball to try to get some of the dirt off and just free up the roots a bit. At this point, it's good to watch out for dead chunks of roots or any root rot if you had overwatered it in the past, or if you just bought it from a nursery and it might have been overwatered at any point. It's also a good time to check to see if they started it in a peat plug. And sure enough, in the middle I found a fabric starter plug, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove that as best I can. It's okay if you're not able to get the entire plug out, especially with a netting plug like this. Just try to break up the sides of it so that the roots can poke through. All right, that looks pretty good to me, so we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping it with some moss. Next, you gotta decide if you wanna mount your basket this way or this way. I'm gonna go for this way first. I'm gonna make sure to leave a little gap right at the back where it's gonna touch the wall so that the wet moss doesn't touch the wall and leave a stain. Or you could definitely just have it hanging in the air if you tied it kinda in the middle. Otherwise, you could put it on something and mount it to the wall. Totally up to you. I'm just gonna go ahead and add kind of a base layer onto the bottom here that I can set the root ball on. Again, making sure to leave a gap in the back. Now that I've got that base layer of moss in there, I'm just going to set the Staghorn Fern on top of it, and it's going to be leaning out a little bit to encourage it to grow some shield fronds on the bottom. And I'm gonna start packing some moss around behind it, again, making sure to keep that little gap on the back there. I'm just gonna go ahead and go in the back and cover up the root ball, plus a little bit on all sides to make it retain moisture a little bit better. All right, and this is kind of the angle you'd like to have it at. Again, it's gonna be flat on the wall, so it's gonna be at that kind of 45-degree angle with everything to encourage it to grow some shield fronds. So tying this guy down is going to be a little bit more difficult than tying it to a flat piece of wood, because you're gonna have to weave in and out of the basket. So I'm actually just gonna take a few long pieces to start and see how that goes. Here, I'm just going to kind of start underneath where the moss starts. That way it can hold it down. I'm gonna loop up and over, and I'm actually gonna go through one of the front holes a little bit farther down than where the moss starts again. Then I'm going to kind of tighten that down, and underneath I'm gonna loop it over the front bottom right here and loop it back through the grate to tie off on the other end. And make sure you don't loop it through the same hole it entered on, because then it'll just fall off. And I'm gonna go in with the line like that 3 or 4 times, starting at alternating sides, just to make sure that the moss is held in place as best it can be before I go through and start wrapping and wrapping and wrapping around the moss ball. Here's how it's looking so far. You can't see the fishing line aside from where it's sticking out, so that's always a plus. And again, the gap in the back isn't working very well right now, so I might have to put a piece of plastic wrap or put something on the back of it just to protect the wall. I've looped around it with the fishing line maybe 5 times now, and it seems to be staying in place pretty well. All right, and there she is. I'm just going to, rather than hanging it from the wall, I'm gonna loop a little piece of fishing line in here and hang it from a ceiling hook, I think. Feel free to drop a comment on whether or not you think this is actually a Staghorn Fern or if it might be an Elkhorn Fern. If you liked the video, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel for more planty content. Okay, thanks, bye!